Hi, in this video we're going to talk about how to configure the Control Freak with the built-in WLED app and how you can play around with your lights with it. The app is actually a web server built into the Control Freak. You connect to it via Wi-Fi and you use it to configure the Control Freak and control the LEDs. When you first turn on the Control Freak, you'll notice that only the first 30 LEDs are lit. That's just the default. You can configure it from your remote device like your mobile phone or a computer with Wi-Fi. When you're out with your bicycle or your mobile device, most likely you're going to want to be using your phone. But it's easier to demonstrate on a computer, so I will mostly be using the computer in this video. The Control Freak is designed to operate completely off the grid, which is to say with no internet connection. But you do have to communicate with it via Wi-Fi. So if either the computer, notebook, tablet, or phone, you first need to connect to the Control Freak via Wi-Fi. The first time you're going to want to change some of the defaults. So with your Wi-Fi, look for the WLED and connect to it with the password lowercase WLED1234 and go to address 4.3.2.1. And this brings up the WLED interface. You would do the same thing on your phone. Go to your Wi-Fi, find WLED AP, sign in with the password WLED1234, connect, and sign in, or use the WLED native app from the Play Store or the App Store. In any case, you see you come up to the same interface right here. Since it's more convenient on the computer, I'm going to go back over to the computer. And the first thing we want to deal with is the fact that only 30 LEDs are lit. So let's go over here to configuration, then to LED preferences, and going down the line. You'll see here maximum current is set to 850 milliamp. That's kind of on the low side. Most of the USB battery packs will do 2 amps, some 3 amps. So 2 amps would be 2000 milliamps. We'll set that there. We come down here. We don't need to change any of these options, generally speaking. But here on length, we're dealing with a 16 by 16 matrix, so we're going to want to change that to 256. We'll see our GPIO for this channel is 2, and that's correct. And we go down here further, and we see button O is 0. There are no other buttons or anything else. Apply preset 0 at boot. Now, we'll talk about that a little later. That brings up that nice little yellow color you see. Okay, so we save that. And there you see all our LEDs have lit up. So next we're going to go to Wi-Fi, and we're going to want to change some things. Now you see here where it says, you see the scan button. Most of the people that use the WLED software use it on their home networks. They use it for like home design, architectural lighting, and that sort of thing. So the scan button is designed to find your home network and attach it to that. We're going to be using it far away from our home network or the internet for that matter, so we don't want to do that. What we do want to do on our first Control Freak, the one we're going to use as leader, is we're going to come down here and we're going to change this AP to something that means something to us. So I'm going to use LBL 2399, and you're going to want to change this password to something besides the default. So I'm going to use Control Freak with a capital C and a capital F. Now you want to be careful when you type the password in here. You know it doesn't show you a clear text version of it. And if you get it wrong, it's really going to be a pain to reset it. So save and connect. To make the new network name visible, we'll have to recycle it to be able to see the new SSID. So turn it off, turn it back on, go to our Wi-Fi, and sooner or later we'll see LBL 2399. Click on that, put in the password. Password's already in. and try to be security conscious with your passwords. Don't take my example. Okay, now we want to do the same thing on the phone. Go to Wi-Fi, find LBL 2399, put in the password, connect, and again we bring up the Control Freak in the browser and go to controls, and now we can play around a little bit. How about if we make that red? How about if we make it blue? Okay, my arms are tired, so how about if we go back to the computer? Now let's look at the WLED interface in some detail. You'll see when you're running on PC mode on a PC, you can see the 4 columns. Over here, we have the color palette column. And at the top, you see this color wheel. By moving around this color wheel, you can change the colors. You also have these sliders. You can use RGB sliders to change the colors. And these color samples. And below here, you can put in your hex colors, which is very useful if you want to set up a display based on your favorite team or flag. Because right now it's not showing any palettes. That's because we're on Solid, and Solid doesn't use any palettes. But as soon as we go to another one, Android, and you'll notice most of the effects have these little palette icons. Solid doesn't have them. But most of the effects will use a variety of palettes. So if we go to Android here, we can see that there are many palettes we can apply to it. Well over 100 palettes. And we go to another Android or blend, we'll notice that each effect will also come with a number of different sliders. In this case, we have blend speed and blend intensity. So now let's pick a different effect and a different palette, and yet a different palette and a different effect. Pick a chase, a different palette. I like semi-blue. Ice Fire, Chase 2, Lava, Chase 3, Magenta. Now you begin to see the power of the WLED software running this controller. You have over 70 different effects, and to most of those, you can apply up to 100 different palettes. Glitter is my favorite one. Glitter is my favorite effect. You see here, glitter. So here's glitter with the default. Here's glitter with lava. Here's glitter with cloud. Here's glitter with candy. Now here's glitter with fire. Now, once you have a combination that you like, say glitter with fire, you're going to want to be able to save that so you can recall it. So you go over to this column here, to presets. And you see right now there's no presets, so we're going to create our first preset. You click on that and it comes up. And it says glitter. And we're going to put fire in front of that so we know it's what it is. And we'll give it a quick label of, say, FG. And now we're going to save that, and here we created our first preset. Now let's talk about segments. Segments can be very powerful. You see here the system has already created one segment for us, segment 0. And if we look at that, we can see it's all about LEDs. It's 256 LEDs in segment 0. Okay, let's say we want to divide this cube into 4 segments, 64 pixels each. So we're going to create one segment. We'll go to 64. Okay. And let's turn off segment O, and let's go to solid here again, and let's make that red. Okay. Now we're going to create another segment. Go to 128, turn off 1, leave 2 on, and let's make that blue. Add another segment. Go to 192. And let's make that one, say, green. So we have one more segment to create. That number is right. Okay. And let's make that one glitter again. Now, once you've created a nice set of segments like this, you're going to want to save them to a preset. Because if you call up something else, for instance, if we were to call up this fire glitter preset right now, it would completely wipe out this. So not to lose this work, let's create another preset. And let's just call this one for segments. And go quick label. Don't have to give it a quick label, but we'll do that anyway. Open up one of the segments we've created, and you notice that there's some things we can change here. There's a reverse direction and a mirror effects. One of the things I like to do is, like on a bicycle wheel, create it with 2 circles of LEDs, one on each side, say maybe 200 pixels all total. Then I'll separate that into 2 segments of 100 pixels each, and then I'll reverse the direction on one of those segments so you get this nice effect like this. Okay, let's do a little bit more on the phone. Once you're connected to the mobile app on the phone, you can go to it from your browser or use the WLED native app you can get from the Play Store or the App Store. And there you have the same interface. You can go to controls. So now let's go ahead and create a few more presets. So let's call up glitter. Let's go and load the fire glitter, but let's go now and change the color some. Create a few more presets. April 9th. Okay, let's create the preset for that. New preset and call it April 9th. Okay. And I knew I borrowed that. Okay, save that. How about we go and pick another color? How about C9? So that'll be easy to name. Go create a preset with that. Let's call it C9. Okay. Save that. And let's try a different effect. And we can just go with chase. Default colors for chase. I don't know, I don't think the default's that great. So cloud, okay. Let's create another preset for that. Okay. And we'll just say, use that default name and save it. Okay. You kind of see why I like to do this stuff on the computer. So we're going to go back to the computer here. Let's refresh our page here. And you see, there are the presets that we created on the phone, because actually everything was happening here on the Control Freak. Now that we have some presets, we can go ahead and create a playlist. I'm going to call this Clay. Get that spelling right. Clay's playlist. And you see our first entry is fire glitter. This plus allows us to add extra entries. another fire glitter. That's not what we want. We click down on that and we can see the list of all of our other presets. So there we got 4 segments. Click down another one. Let's add April 9th. Click down and add another one. Let's call it C9. Where are we here? Okay. And Chase. So, okay. We want it to shuffle. And we can save that. You see, if we play the playlist, it will go through them. Oh, I also wanted to point out, when you create a playlist, you notice here you have a duration and here you have a transition. You can change those. If you change those here, they'll propagate down as you create new ones. There's another thing you can do with presets that's very powerful, because a preset can be more than just a record of a machine state at this particular time. A preset can also be a macro. And the way you do that is like you create a normal preset. We're going to create 2 presets here that are already built into the Control Freak leader, but I'm going to show you how to create them for the sake of completeness. One is power toggle. Turn the power on and off. And instead of where it says use current state, we unclick that. It opens up this window. We can type in an AP command. In this case, it'll be T equals 2, an API command. And we're going to give it a high ID number of 99. You can have up to 255 presets, playlists, or macros. And if we click that, we can see it turns it on. Click it again, it turns it off. Click it again, turns it on. Now let's create another one, another macro that is built into the Control Freak leader. And that one is called Next Effect. It will bring up the next effect and just toggle through all the effects. So again, we unclick current state, and in this case, the API command is going to be FX equals this squiggly thing here. And we're going to save that to 98. And save it here. And we toggle through next effects. You can see it brings up a different effect each time. We can also associate these special effects with buttons. And this is already done for you on the Control Freak leader, but for the sake of completeness, I'm going to show you how it's done here. You go over here to the config menu and then to time and macros. You go down here to button action, and for button no, for the short, we want to put in 98. And for the long button, push 99. And we're going to save that. And then you can see it turns it off and turns it on. Keep in mind, when you turn it off this way, this controller is still drawing more than 100 milliamps. So you don't want to turn it off that way and leave it overnight and come back and think it's still going to be working for you. Your battery may likely be dead. And now that we created a few presets, we can also change what the Control Freak boots up to. So we go back over here to LED and hardware setup. We go down here to apply preset at boot, and let's change that to 1, and then it will boot up to fire glitter. You can also have it boot up to a playlist, and that's what I like to do most of the time. Now, as it turns out, this particular LED panel is a matrix, and while we've been running it as same as a 1D strip, we can also configure it as a matrix, and that's what we want to do if we want to use the special 2D effects. So we go over here to 2D configuration, and it says strip or panel. We're going to change that from the default, which is 1D strip, and we're going to go to 2D matrix, and it opens up these things for us. And out panel is 16 by 16, and we want top right horizontal and top right horizontal serpentine, and we save that. And if we got it right, we can go over here to controls. Just as we can filter for palettes over here, you see we can filter down for effects. We can filter for effects that just work with matrices. And one of the best to check if our matrix is set up properly is sun radiation. And if you get a circle in the middle like that, you know you pretty much have it right. Okay, let's look at some of the other 2D effects we've got here. Okay, Akamai, that's one of my favorites. Okay, how about black hole? How about crazy bees? How about DNA? How about DNA spiral? How about with a different palette? Still a different palette and a different palette. How about fire noise? How about frizzles? Different palette. How about game of life? Okay. How about Hypnotica? Try different palettes on that. It's a pretty one. How about the Matrix? Meatballs. Okay. How about scrolling text? Now, scrolling text defaults to the time and date, or the date and time. How can you change that, you may ask? This is a great mystery. I will now reveal it to you. You come over here to segments. Remember when we were in segments before? This is a secret. You open up to segment 0. You see that little pencil there? You click on that. It opens up this window. You enter something in here. Let's say Linux speech. And you save that. And there we are. It has changed to Linux speech. Just scrolling by it. So we want to save that in a preset. So maybe we'll call it Linux speech. Now there are a few things I want to cover in the security and update menu. Now hit the bottom. You go to this. Scroll down. You see where it says Manual OTA update. The WLED software for the Control Freak is undergoing constant development. We're adding new features, adding new effects, new colors, and we're also fixing bugs. So from time to time there will be software updates. The Manual OTC update allows you to update the software via Wi-Fi in place. So that will be important to you. And down here we have backup and restore. You put a lot of work into configuring your Control Freak. You create a bunch of presets, playlists. You don't want to lose those. Utilize these to back them up. You click backup presets, copy in a JSON file to your Wi-Fi device, be it the computer or phone. Same thing with backup configurations. Then you can use these choose file and upload to restore those files. That way, worst case scenario, the controller gets so screwed up, you got to come up here and do a factory reset, and be aware that would destroy all your settings and presets. So you better have them backed up before you do that. Or say it even burns up or somebody steals it and you got to get a new one. And you don't want to start from scratch. If you have your backup files here, you're good to go. The last thing I want to cover in this video is how do you make Control Freaks work as a team? How do you make a follower follow the leader? Okay. The key to that is in the Wi-Fi setup, because the key to that is having them all on the same Wi-Fi LAN. So let me grab another controller here. And then we're going to go and we're going to set that up. Again, we find WLED AP, and we want to connect to that. Now, it already knows the password from before, so it's connected to it. And here, we're going to be going to this new controller right here. Now, I've already set this up. Let's connect the matrix to it for 256 LEDs. So that is already done. And here's where the secret is to having them all connect together. Okay, up here where it says your network, and on the leader, we left that the way it is or left it blank. Now you want to put in the AP of the leader. So LBL 2399 and the same password. Capital CONROLFERAK. Okay. And down here, you're also going to want to change this to something that is more recognizable. So if I was going to do this on the front wheel, I might make this LBL 2399.FW and give it the same password. Keeps it simple. Control. Again, I'm not recommending this example password for security. Okay. So now we go and connect with that. And if all is well, we should be able to go back to the leader and connect to that. We'll connect it, reload here, and go to controls here. And turn on peak, by the way, shows what's going on. Turn on info. You see here, it tells you a lot about your system here. And look at instance list. And there we can see we have another instance, which is the one we just hooked up. So, but will it sync? So let's close this. Go over here, click on the sync tab. And let's try place playlist. And there we see the two controllers are syncing. Yeah, we can see they're playing Follow the Leader. Well, that's all I wanted to cover in this video, and I hope it's been helpful to you. Thank you again.